Hey, hey, hey. Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Nice to see so many smiling faces out there tonight.
Hello.
Hello. So welcome, and we just have a couple announcements here before we get started. I see some new faces out there too, so we definitely look forward to meeting all of you guys. Thanks for being here. So a couple things before we get started. Number one, and Becky, pop in anything I forget here, but number one, Mom's Group. We've got Mom's Group tomorrow morning for all the ladies. So every Wednesday morning, 11 o'clock, we've got Mom's Group. If you've never been part of Mom's Group yet, you're totally invited. Please join us if you can. It's just 1 hour every Wednesday. It's on Zoom, where all us ladies just kind of get together, talk about the topic from the night before, get to know each other. Even if you're brand new, haven't met us yet, please come. That way we get to know you and introduce you to all the ladies. So please join us. If you need the link, you can just shoot me a message and I will send it to you. People are still rolling in here from the waiting room here. So join us tomorrow morning for Mom's Group. And then just a couple dates. I just a little plug, save the dates, more information to come in a month or so, but we've got 2 dates we want to make sure you guys all have on your calendars for 2023. And that is our Walk and Run for Recovery in May. This will be our 4th annual one. It's on May 13th, Saturday, May 13th. So registration will be going live in the coming weeks. And we will blast that to everybody, but we want to just make sure you have the dates saved, May 13th, so you can join us. Details to come. And then the auction is October 21st. So just make sure that's on your calendar. There's no details for that out there yet, but we will be getting that in the coming weeks as well. So just make sure we have that on your calendar. And then tax receipts for 2022, they're coming. They will get all out to all of you. Anybody who donated to Battlefield Addiction, Battlefield Addiction is a nonprofit. If you donated in 2023, you will be receiving a tax receipt for your taxes by the 31st of the month. So we are working on that. They will go out on time by the 31st. A lot of people have been asking, so heads up on that. And Becky, is there anything else you got?
Well, I guess you should probably add that if you donated through one of our Facebook fundraisers or one of the birthday fundraisers to Battlefield Addiction, make sure you look on Facebook for your receipt for that. Okay. We don't get that.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe we'll include that on the letter. Yeah. So note to ourselves, let's make sure that gets on the letter, because everybody's going to be wondering about that too, because that is separate. Yeah, Facebook gives their own receipt for that. You're right. So cool. Thanks for that.
One more thing.
Okay.
I'm back at the grant writing, and if there's anyone out there that works for Fred Meyer, or just a Kroger company, or Boeing, if you could email me, Becky at Battlefield Addiction, and let me know what your relationship is or your position. Oh, also Nordstrom. Also, and what's the other one I was looking at? Oh my gosh, there's so many. Anyway,
Boeing, Nordstrom's, Fred Meyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were the 3 main. Or if you work for the Muckleshoot tribe, or you're a member of any of the tribes in the area, I would also love to hear from you, because they always ask us how many tribal members we serve. So that would be great to know too.
Awesome. Becky at battlefieldaddiction.com. All right. Thank you, Becky. And before I turn it over to Mr. Kyle, let me just mention that we will be our in-person groups at Orion are going to be on the first Tuesday of the month. So mark your calendar for February 7th. So, and the other weeks will be on Zoom. And from week to week, it's really important to be on our text reminder list. If you, let me just show you real quick here for those of you who might not be. Let me just do this real quick, because this is super important, you guys, because things are kind of changing week by week as we go in person and Zoom and all that. So I want to show you here real quick. If you just go to our website, battlefieldaddiction.com, and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, see on the left-hand side here, email alerts, and then on the right-hand side, text alerts. Make sure that you're signed up on our text reminder list. And if you're on our text reminder list, you will receive a text every week. It's usually on Mondays. And that is just letting you know what's going on this week. So you can always be in the know. So make sure you are on that text reminder list. And it goes out, it's not directly from my number. It's just a kind of a weird number. And so make sure you're on that so you can stay up to date on all the changes as we roll out this year and try to add more in-person opportunities. So, okay. Thank you, Becky. Let's go over to the crew now. Let's take us off Spotlight. And let's put them back on Spotlights. All right. For those of you new tonight, this is Mr. Kyle Munkers. He is a manager over there at Rebuild Recovery. But he also brings us Kyle's Corny Comedy Corner each week for us to start our night off. So take it away, Kyle.
All right. Good. You just mop the floor. So, earlier today, Art and I were sitting in a room, and then he yelled at me. He goes, "Kyle, are you even listening to me?" And I was like, "Geez, that's a weird way to start a conversation." What do you get when you cross an angry sheep and an angry cow? An animal in a bad mood. This one's better. How does a rock pee?
What?
How does a rock pee? It Dwayne's It's Johnson. Two people making love, they say, is a twosome. 3 is a threesome. And I was thinking that makes sense. I mean, now I know why they call Jeff handsome. True story, though, the other day I said, I was looking at Jeff and I said, "Jeff, if you keep doing that with your hand, you go blind." He goes, "Kyle, I'm over here." I really hate those people that come to your door and say, if you got to be saved or you're going to burn. Stupid fireman. Ryan Becker, he's a newer client of ours. He's been here for over 30 days now, but Ryan, he told me straight to my face, he says, "Kyle, I'm starting to get uncomfortable. You're always in my personal space." That really made me upset. It ruined our bath. So I have a friend who I call Dick, and he gets mad that I shortened his name to Dick, especially since his name is Art. Just kidding. No, but for real, I really do have a friend named Richard. His name's Richard. He likes to send selfies all the time. We call them dick pics. This is also a true story. We had this client at the big house. And this client, he always said he was sick, hypochondriac. And one time he was, he wouldn't come to group all that day. He wouldn't come to IOP all that day. He was carrying around this jug of fluid, which he had to drink because he had to get a colonoscopy. So, he couldn't come to group. Yeah, he was full of shit. So with the birth of my first child, I was a new father. I didn't know how this whole thing worked. Right after my girlfriend had given birth, I went to the doctor and I said, "Hey, so how long, do we have to wait before, we can have sex again?" He said 10 minutes and then winked at me and said, "Meet me in the parking garage."
All right. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. All right. So we've got some new people out there tonight, and I just want to take a moment to welcome you. We'd love to get to know you. We're going to hand the mic over to Art for a bit, and then we'll have an opportunity to open things up, and I hope that we can say hi to each of you. So thanks for being here. And Art, let's make sure I can hear you good.
Okay. Can you hear me good?
I can. All right. It's so weird that bottom camera there has like nobody. It looks like it's in a fake room because there's so many people in the top two.
No, someone bumped it. It's frozen.
Oh, that's why. It's frozen for like an hour ago. That's why I'm like,
Can we turn it
really
off?
Weird.
Just black it out.
There's so many people in that room.
All right.
Oh,
There you go.
that works. Okay. All right. We're ready.
Well, we'll hope that that we don't lose the new people before we get a chance to meet them. I've been known to run them off before.
Sometimes me.
Yeah, sometimes Kyle's Jokes does it, but sometimes I do it. So I'll try to be light tonight, not run anybody off. We're pretty deep into this thing. Pretty deep into where these philosophies have come from, or how we handle addiction, or how we handle each other. So it's kind of a weird experience, I bet, to be new into this and see people not crying or okay with it. And if you are new, what you need to realize is that we've kind of boiled all this down to one kind of main objective when you look at it closer, and there's no side of this thing that I spend my time stopping people from doing drugs or trying to suggest that I have a solution for you to not do drugs. That would be crazy. It's just you and the drugs, and whether you do those or not is something that hopefully you've come here and committed to try to not do on your own. So it's, a long time you go thinking some of these other things are going to be the solution, or if I do this, I won't do drugs. I've seen everything done, and then eventually still I've seen everything that's ever been done and said, this is how I stay off drugs. I've seen another human being do drugs that's done that same thing. So I don't know about that. But what we have figured out is that for a better life, and seems like the chances increase of, a better life when a person decides they want to take responsibility, and they want to make a difference in their own life and create one that is beautiful enough that you don't want to use drugs to run away from it. And then the families come to me, and I think that they're struggling with the same level of powerlessness. And I think what everybody, one common theme here, especially with the families who come to me, is that they're asking one question. They're asking, how do I be cause in the matter of change? How do I be responsible for this change in other people? How do I be responsible to create a shift in my family? How do I be responsible for creating a shift in my marriage? Or how do I be and then you guys come here, and how do I be responsible for the changes that I need to make? And how do I be responsible for my relations? So we're trying to get rid of this thing, powerlessness, really trying to eliminate it in our life. Imagine if that was true. Imagine if it was true that we're powerless. Maybe we're powerless. And imagine if families were powerless to make a difference when it pertains to drugs and alcohol, powerless to make a difference when it pertains to the relationships. Imagine if we just said that as a program. Well, we're just powerless to other people's decisions. We're just powerless to, I like when people say, we can't control how other people behave, or we can't, all I can do is control my reactions. And I don't even believe that's true. I believe more so we have more of an impact on controlling the way other people behave around us. And I wouldn't call it control, I'd call it influencing, is that we can influence people around us easier than we can control our reactions. Our reactions get away from us a lot. Our reactions, like I get angry and yell, and I don't even know where I went that time. I don't even know what was up. So for me, it's more of being caused in the matter of things and seeing how that would influence the way people behave and the way the world shows up for me. And if I can do that, and I have a lot less control of when something catches me off guard and I react to it. So I don't really believe that whole thing that people can control their reactions. It's a reaction. If you were controlling it, it wouldn't be a reaction. It would be you doing it. So I think that, but one of the common themes and what we're doing here is we're trying to make a difference in our life in some fashion, in some form. What we're doing is we're looking at the landscape of our life and we're saying, hey, you know, a lot of things have happened out here in this my life thing, in the landscape of my own life. And that's sometimes it gets so ugly out there in my own life that I use drugs and alcohol to get away from my own life. And when I wake back up after drugs and alcohol from my own life and see my own life again, I'm just as miserable as I was before. And it's even worse now because I've made it worse because now people are mad at me and I've used drugs and alcohol. And then families come and they're saying, how do I make a difference in my family? And I think we have to be clear that that's what's going on here. So the first thing is that if we're going to be causing the matter of something, we need to clear up this distinction about how we feel when we're doing things. And so what I mean by that is there's a lot of different ways to say it. One of the ways to say it would be called open heart, closed heart. One of the ways to say it would be I'm protecting myself from this relationship, and I want to be clear when I'm talking about relationships. Some people out here have drug addict and active addiction that are using drugs, and I'm not sitting here suggesting that we build a relationship with that. In that kind of scenario, when somebody's using drugs actively, what we're trying to do is get them help and get them into treatment. And we have to be strategic about that. So we can be causing that matter of that too. But it's not the same when we're dealing with other relationships. And it's not the same when you're trying to deal with people who are sober and then have a relationship with them after they've gotten clean and sober. It's different. And so what I'm talking about tonight is not the drug addict relationship. I'm talking about being causing the matter of all of our relationships. And you know, there's an opposite of blame here. And if I could remove one thing from all of this, and if I could just have every family that comes to me and every person that comes to me, if I could just do one thing, if I could take away your right to blame, if I could just take away that, if I could just say you'll get a shock collar. And as soon as a person is blaming, it just shocks them and they go, oh, what was I doing? And then all of a sudden it would go, okay, now causing the matter. And that's what I would try to get through to everyone. I would say, listen, there's an opposite of blame. I'm causing the matter. It doesn't matter what happened. It matters where it's going. And so this idea that we can learn how to be causing our matter in the matter of our life. Now, here's the kicker here. I have to have two things two kind of qualifications if I'm going to be causing the matter of my relationship. And another way to say causing the matter is to be responsible for the relationship. And I don't really generally think people understand what it means to be responsible for the relationship. I don't know if people generally understand what it means, what a relationship is. The thing. There's me and you, and there's the thing. There's me and you, and there's this like living organism that's we either need to resuscitate, or we need to like give CPR, or we need to put fuel into, or we need to. It's me and you and this thing is our relationship, and I want to be causing the matter of it, and I also need to. So there's kind of two qualifications to be causing the matter of anything, and the first thing I believe is that we're seeking understanding of it, that we don't that we're trying to understand it, and we're trying to understand the other person, and we're trying to understand what it is. You can't help something you don't understand. You can't fix anything you don't understand. You're hopeless and powerless. So you must be able to understand something. Just try to fix a car that you don't understand. Try to fix anything that you don't understand. What is the first thing you need to do? Every time. If you need to fix a dishwasher, you have to understand that dishwasher. If you need to fix a washer or dryer, you seek understanding. So anything that we want to fix, the first thing that we do is try to understand it. Except with people. With people, we seem to have it all figured out, and they're bad and we're good, and they're wrong and we're right. We've got it all figured out. It can't be that easy. So the first qualification I'd say is that I can't help somebody that I don't understand. Secondly is there's a real feeling when I say open heart, closed heart. Let's also understand that it may come off differently. I may feel against. So closed heart, against. So I may be protecting myself from this thing, or I'm causing the matter of this thing. And so when we get angry with somebody, when it doesn't go our way, when we try things, what happens is we close our heart and we begin to protect ourselves, and we begin to villainize the other person, or we begin to talk about how bad they are and how right we are. And, sometimes with a married couple, or I know with if I get the feeling of against, I don't even want to be touched by the other person. Like, not now, stay away from me. Just don't touch me right now. I'm against you. And so understanding this distinction between whether with the thing that we're going to be causing the matter of, one, do we understand it? Do we need to seek understanding? And secondly, is my heart open or closed? Is it open or closed? Am I for this person or against them? Am I trying to figure out all the ways they're wrong and tell them? That's closed heart. That's against. Or am I trying to be causing the matter of the thing? Am I trying to say our relationship is this like thing, and let's put some into it? Let's understand it more. Let's talk about it more. Let's ask more questions about it. Let's look deeper at it. And you have to know what it is that you're up to. A lot of people try to be causing the matter with a closed heart. It really comes off nasty. And the things that we say when our heart is closed, and the blame, and the telling them how wrong they are, and all that kind of thing. And what you're really doing is you're trying to make it stop. You're trying to say your behavior, it's hurting me, and I need to protect myself from you, and I need to tell you all the ways you need to stop behaving that way. But you're not trying to understand, and you're not trying to be causing the matter. So really, it was astounding to me how much has happened as humans, how much time we spend with closed hearts, how much time we spend against each other, how much time we spend in consideration and rumination of the behavior of the other person, and the negativity that comes with that and what we're doing there. So then what do? How do you keep an open heart? I know a lot of people here, couples, that time when you feel like you don't want to talk to the other person, that time when you feel like dominated by the other person, or you feel angry from them, and you don't want right now to stop. A lot of people, when they're in that closed heart mode, they go, I can't even think right now. Just don't talk to me. Just stay away from me. They give the silent treatment. And there's maybe the woman giving the silent treatment, or maybe the man giving the silent treatment. And what a weird thing that we've developed. I need now to not talk to you because you hurt me, and I need to protect myself from you. But we're in love. We're in love. That's not it. And so the hardest times that it is to seek understanding of another person, the hardest time it is to be causing the matter, the work starts when I know my heart is closed. That's when the work starts. When I know I'm against the other person, when I know that I'm not for them, when I know that I'm in the box, we call it here, leadership and self-deception. So it says, hey, right now I'm closed heart with this person. I'm thinking about all the ways they're screwing me over. I'm thinking about how they need to change. I need to now, and then we maybe try to go do the work, but we don't go do the work. We just go blame. And we think that that's the way that people change, is that we go to people and tell them how they're behaving poorly. And then they go, oh, I'm glad you told me. It just doesn't seem. So when we approach somebody with a closed heart, they approach us with defensiveness. They approach us, and that's how you know. You can literally know if your heart's closed or not, but you can feel it. You can feel it before you. I always say, man, when I need to talk to somebody, ooh, that's a bad place to be. When I'm in a position that I'm so pissed off that I need to talk to someone. So we're trying to get rid of powerlessness with each other. We're trying to get rid of this fear with each other. We're trying to get to a place where we can be truthful with each other again. And the first thing that I say is that you have to understand whether your heart's open or closed or not, because everyone knows when your heart's closed. Everyone knows what you look like. Everyone knows what you sound like. Everyone knows. You ever see somebody and you go, you're pissed off, and they go, no, I'm not. And they are. No, I'm not. Why are you yelling? I'm not yelling. That's it. That's a closed heart coming at me. And I know it. You might not be yelling, but I can see the way your body is. It's tight. So we're working from this place with a closed heart. We're working from this place of resistance. And we believe if our words travel the right direction and they land on the other person, they will then change. And that'll take away our resistance. That'll take away our fears and our insecurities. So the work starts with understanding this, understanding, whoa, right now I know what he's talking about. I'm in a closed heart mode. I'm in self. I'm in the box. I'm against. Imagine this. We're trying to improve our relationships by being against somebody. Let me tell you all the ways that you're wrong. And then they go, let me tell you all the ways that you're wrong. So, there's this thing that has to happen. We have to put down the blame. We have to put down this whole, you're wrong and I'm right thing. And then understand that my heart closes when I'm scared. When I don't feel safe, you're not making me feel safe. My heart closes down and I don't want to talk to you. What I'm doing when I don't want to talk to you is I'm trying to make you suffer. I'm not going to talk to you right now and I'm going to make you suffer. And the other person goes, please, let's start. Not now.
Let's agree to this.
Yeah. Oh, and we have to address that. I'm glad you said that, Chris, because I think that the number one detriment to relationships, one of them at least, is, and I get it here and I get it everywhere, and this whole idea that we can, this agreeability thing when we don't agree. What is this? This new thing is developed where it's so important for people to be agreeable when they don't agree. What a thing to be. I suffer from it a lot. I think that I'm a very powerful person. So people agree with me when they don't agree with me. It's so odd. I mean, why? I love to ask people tonight, why would you agree with somebody when you don't agree? Why? Why would you be agreeable when you don't agree? And this whole idea that we can agree to disagree. What a stupid concept. Doesn't even make any sense. We can eat to not eat. It makes no sense. You cannot agree to disagree. That doesn't make any sense. And then people just
give up on the conversation. They just don't want to talk to them.
Yeah, they're saying I'm right and you're wrong, and we can agree that you think you're right and I think I'm right, and we're never going to get anywhere. And it's easy, and I don't really like you anymore. And I can say I do, but I don't. And we can go now. It just makes it functional because we have to be in the same room together. But we're driving to the place, and we both don't want to see each other because we agreed to disagree, and that ended it. How about you don't agree to disagree? How about you agree to keep talking? How about you agree to keep going? How about you agree that maybe you're both wrong? Maybe there's not even a fight. So the work boiled down to I can't stop someone from using drugs. I don't have a solution for that. Somebody comes and they want to use drugs. It seems to me that they use drugs. Almost everyone I know that wants to use drugs ends up using drugs. I've never seen somebody really that wants to use drugs that didn't use drugs. Maybe they couldn't score that day, but they want to use drugs. I like to deal with people who, I remember my first time that this came into play, I was about 7 months sober and 6 months sober. My sponsor told me I had to sponsor someone else. And it was like noon at the Alano Club, and I did my stuff. And then he goes, this kid's right out here and they need you to sponsor them. I had completed the steps. So he goes, you've completed the steps. Now you need to sponsor this kid. And then I gave the kid the number, and I thought, well, maybe later this week we'll meet or something, kiddo. And it wasn't that. It was like 2 a.m. The kid calls me, and he goes, "I feel like using drugs," and I just hung up on him. So he called me back a little while later, and he goes, "Well, what are you doing? I told you I feel like using drugs." And I go do that. What do you want me to say? I go, I'm here for you if you don't want to use drugs. I can help you if you don't want to use drugs. Then I can help you. And then this works. And so, understanding that that's the key to this thing is that's your own deal, and we can't make nobody can stop me from eating the cookie if I want to eat the cookie. Yeah. It's just me and the cookie. And, and there I am. And there's me and the cake, and there's me and the chips, and there's me and the soda. And, we could do that thing where we put me away and don't let me get in a grocery store or do 6 months. Yeah. Black me out from, take away the McDonald's, take away the Burger Kings. I shouldn't have to drive down a road with all these triggers.
Well, I've tried that. I've cleaned out the pantry. It doesn't work.
No, I just order more, and then I spent more money. So she cleans it out, and then I just go buy more. But no one can stop me, Even the nutritionist, like no matter how much good nutrition ideas she has or he has, if I don't want to eat that, I don't want to eat that. So, so that leaves me to what we have. I have to create something that makes me different than that. And so, that's what people are talking about when they come. So let's be clear that we do absolutely believe that people can be causing the matter of changing the behavior of other people. I honestly believe that, or I wouldn't spend my life doing it. And I think that I have a real big influence. The way I behave can influence the way people behave around me. And I believe in that. And I believe less that I can't control the actions of others, and I can only control my reactions. I think that's complete bullshit. Then if I could control my actions, what I'll do is I'll just decide right now that I'm never going to yell at anyone again. I'll decide I'm never going to say anything stupid again. I'll decide when I'm in a fight, and when you're in a fight and you say the dumbest shit and you're just sitting there looking at yourself like, why the hell did I just say that? That's so stupid. Or then like 10 minutes later, you realize what smart, really wise way you could have got him, but you didn't, fuck, I should have said that. That would have got him, We're out of control in those states. We're out of control. Not even close to being able to control our reactions. Reactions are just popping out of us. So, but we can be causing the matter of our life. And see, when we're out of control with our reactions, our heart is closed. When we're causing the matter, our heart is open. We can go to people. I remember Travis, there's that you can say, have a nice day. There's a different. So Travis was running the big house, and he got punched in the mouth one morning, and he was in an argument with this dude, and then he got punched in the mouth. So I called Travis and I go, "Why did you get punched in the mouth?" And he said, "I don't know. All I said was, have a nice day." And I go, "Wow, that's weird." But he didn't say, "Have a nice day." He, from a closed heart, he said, "Have a nice day." And the dude saw the closed heart and punched him in his mouth, rightly so. So it ain't what we're doing, it's how we're doing it. A lot of people, parents wonder why I can say the exact same thing to their kid that they can't say. Because I'm for them and my heart is open. But you're scared and you're against and your heart is closed and you're protecting yourself and then trying to change another person from protection. And then it's about you. So now you want me to change because you feel some certain way. And I'm not doing it. And I can see you're full of shit. So if I go and I tell someone to make their bed and they don't. And then so I go back down and I go, hey, make your bed. And they go, no, F you. And then I call crazy and I say, make your goddamn bed. It's no longer about them. It's about me. It's about how does it make me look if you don't make your bed? And I'm so angry that you might not make me look good if you don't make that bed, that I'm going to forcefully try to get you to make that bed, because it's all about me and I'm protecting myself from you. And you not making your bed makes me look bad, and we need to talk about that. And we're doing that with people. So the work becomes, how do I do this? How do I see when I'm against someone or when I'm for them? And how do I see if my heart is open or if it's closed? And you know, right now, people sitting in the room, all of us, we're here, our hearts are open. We know. We can feel it. Then you can feel somebody close their heart, look away, turn away from each other. And think how many times we're in relationships with family or mom and dad or whatever, and we're turning away from people and we're closing our heart and we're saying, I'm not going to speak to them again. I want to be done with them. But maybe 10 minutes earlier, we said, I love you. What's happening to us? So this practice of keeping my heart open has been a mission. My body doesn't feel good with a closed heart. My body feels tight. My thoughts are racing. I'm angry. I'm discontent. My body feels terrible when my heart is closed. So there's only one mission. Get it open again. I don't have time for the silent treatment. I don't have time to not talk to you, because I cannot spend time with a closed heart. I cannot spend time against you. I must open it up right away. You know, and this becoming responsible, becoming cause in the matter is a cure for all of our irresponsibility all at once. Doesn't matter how irresponsible we've been, doesn't matter what we've done in the past. The moment that we feel that we're causing the matter, all that goes away. Just one. Logan was telling me how he was at a coffee house and he pulled out of the coffee house and drove his truck directly into a ditch. And the ditch was kind of placed in a weird spot right in front of the coffee thing, but you needed to go around it clearly, you know. And he drove into it. And then his first instinct was to say, why would somebody put a ditch here? And that's all of us. Why would somebody put a ditch here? These stupid people. Close your heart, be angry. And then he said he just thought about it for a second and the light clicked and he goes, why would I drive into a ditch? And it's like, there it is. The anger is gone. I drove into a ditch. Why'd you do this to me? Oh, I did this, which caused you to do that. What if I wouldn't have done that? Then you wouldn't have done that. Okay. I don't have to blame you anymore. I contributed. I played the game. We got more and more angry with each other. I never de-escalated it. I never stopped it. I just kept producing the negativity, wondering why it didn't change. Well, that's what you did. So here we are. Tonight, you can ask questions, get some coaching, maybe understand that if you could just look tonight and discover that maybe you haven't been that responsible for your relationships, maybe you haven't felt cause in the matter, maybe you don't feel cause in the matter of your job, maybe you go to your work and you're not causing the matter anymore, you just go there and blame everyone for the condition of the job, blame everyone for your poor work environment, blame everyone for the toxic, I love that one. This environment is toxic. Yeah, I've never heard that said by somebody that's not toxic. It's like you have to be in a toxic environment, you have to be toxic. Like you're doing it too. You're there. You're contributing. What are you doing to make it not toxic? Saying it's toxic? Oh, that's toxic to do that. What a person who's causing the matter does with a toxic environment is thinks to themselves, this might be a toxic environment that I can improve. Oh, I can make a difference. Like smile. Like not complain. And I can turn a toxic environment around. Pretty easy. Unless you're powerless, but you're powerless because you blame. You're powerless because you haven't developed the strategy. And you didn't develop the strategy because you were blaming. And the longer you sit and blame, the more you don't think about strategy. So Logan can just keep driving into ditches, or he can develop a strategy to not drive into any more ditches, no matter where they put it. I'm not going to drive into it. No matter where the ditch is, I'm going to go ahead and miss it. I don't do much, but I do remain causing the matter. That doesn't mean it gets great. It doesn't mean that I'm building this gigantic super life. It means that I have eliminated the hatred. I've eliminated the anger. I've got at peace. I know if I want something different, I could go about the business of changing it. It's relief. I know if I want a relationship better, I got to become better. And that's relief. So it's not that I'm sitting here Tony Robbins in you and telling you that you can have it all and get the private jet or whatever you're up to. I'm saying happiness isn't all that. It's just this elimination of the hatred, the blame, the anger. It's just an elimination of that stuff. Then it doesn't matter what you're doing. Just have fun. There is no toxic environment. I am it. I'm the environment. This isn't toxic. It's fine. So then I can go into an environment and I can bring this. I don't even need any boundaries. You can walk without boundaries. Because my job is to not close my heart. That's it. Now you might be pushing up against me and you're trying to get me to close my heart and create a boundary or a fence against you. I won't do that. I'm going to use the practice for what it is, and I'm going to just keep trying to remain. Ooh, there it is. The fear, the anxiety, whoa, they're causing this in me. Okay, this is happening in me. Maybe they're causing it, but it is definitely true. They're around, and then this is happening. And then you keep open. Let me see if I can stay open here. Let me see if I can not shut down. How much bigger is that? See? All right, Ange.
All right. So good. So good. So let's open it up. We just invite you, questions, comments, anybody out there really going through it and need a coaching moment. This is your opportunity. You can use the raise your hand feature on your device. Here, I'll raise my hand to show you. If you can't figure out how to use that on your device, it's different depending on what you're using. If you can't figure that out, you can unmute yourself. You can say hi in the chat and say, I have a question, me, whatever. Somehow get my attention. And those of you that are new out there, we would love to, I see some new faces that we haven't met. And then there's some people who we've met, but this is your first solution group. And I mean, we would love to say hi to everybody. So any questions, any comments? Let's go for it. David Adair.
Hi there.
Hey, have we haven't
No, we haven't met. This is my wife Debbie and I. We have a son that's 39 now.
Yeah.
And he's been struggling for over 10 years.
15.
Yeah, closer to 15. And he's in California. We're up here in Washington State, and we've tried to help him out many times. He's been to programs and he's kind of slipping again. So we're kind of obviously very concerned. So we're joining your group to see if we can get some new ideas.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, David, you got a lot of good stuff going on right now. That I mean, the dog mom shirt, that's pretty good. That makes me like him. That makes me like him. I always trust people for some reason to say Washington. I have an automatic trust already, and I think only a good person says washing machine, Washington. I've only met I've only met really good people that say that. So you got
I've been teased before, so that's okay.
No, I'm not teasing you. I think it's great. No, I'm just saying you got 2 notches up already. Like, we believe in you already. So
He means it.
yeah, I mean,
So where do you guys live?
Up by Covington in Kent.
Okay, great. How did you hear about us?
We have a friend of the family that was a real bad addict for many years, and he got himself cleaned up. He's done fantastic. He's got a family now. He's got his kids back.
Justin Coghill.
I don't know if you've met him before.
Okay.
He's been in any of your groups, but he has a good job, and he helped us with our son here a few years ago. And we've kept in touch. He lives pretty close to us, and he suggested your group.
Great,
Nice.
great. Well, so it's David and Diane?
Debbie.
Debbie.
Yeah.
And so I want to get you my number. I'll stick it in the chat. We want to
Okay.
schedule a consultation. Really, the best way that we can help is scheduling a consultation, and that's for the 2 of you. We'll bring it in, and that just allows us to sit down and, get an idea of what the situation is, so we can identify a starting point and how we can help best. So let's definitely
Well, that'd be
schedule a
great.
consultation.
Thank you so much.
I'll shoot my number in the chat right now. And if you can
Okay.
just pop me a text and say, give me your name, and then I'll follow up after the meeting, and we'll
Okay.
get you scheduled.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Here it is.
Everybody's got a different story.
Great to meet you guys. Thanks for being here.
that's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
And there's lots of families here locally, and maybe you'll hear from a couple of them tonight, but you're in good hands. So glad you found us.
Sure. Whereabouts are you guys anyway?
Kent, Auburn, right here close to you.
Okay, so it's a local group. Okay,
Yep.
good.
Yep. And when we do in-person groups, we meet in Auburn. So on the first Tuesday of the month, we meet at Orion in Auburn. And so in person is so much fun. So you'll definitely want to join us in person. And then
Awesome.
I'll take this opportunity to tell everybody out there, our next group coaching session is next week, Wednesday. I believe that's the 25th, 24th, 25th. Let me look here real quick to get it right.
25th.
Yeah, the 25th. So next week, Wednesday, the 25th is our next group coaching session, and group coaching sessions always fill up. You do need to register. There's no cost, but you need to register because we limit the number of seats. And group coaching is an opportunity for just a limited number of people that come, and it's in person. It's one of our favorite things that we do. So I want to invite you all that, to sign up and join us.
How many are in your group total now? Can you tell us?
Oh gosh, you mean for group coaching next week, or just?
No, I mean, just generally speaking, is it a really, really big group? Is it an intimate group, or?
The group coaching sessions are an intimate group. So we usually have about 15, 16 people in our group coaching sessions, because we limit the number. But like overall, all the families we work with, over the last 9 years, hundreds,
Cool.
Thousands.
probably thousands.
David,
Yes.
and one thing that you have to realize in this day and age, and this is for everyone, is that what we are, and a belief system that a family is really our last line of defense anymore. There used to be these beautiful natural interventions with drug addiction. Jail was one of them. You know, somebody to end up in jail, and it was beautiful because, you know, they came to their senses and they had the detox and they had these restrictions that allowed them to get clean and made sure they did. And we had homelessness. It used to be bad out there on the streets. There was no way to get drugs. You were cold, and that used to be a good intervention point. And expensive drugs used to be a good intervention point. Drugs, people just get costed out of the market, and you couldn't afford your drugs anymore. And all these natural interventions have been eliminated.
It's really, really hard to hit rock bottom now, isn't it?
Yeah, nobody will let you, and we don't like that, and we don't think that that's good, and we think that it should be a bad thing to be a drug addict. It doesn't have to be evil, but it doesn't have to be so celebrated, and it doesn't have to be so allowed. And we're a group of drug addicts, and none of us thought we should have rights when we're using drugs. And somebody else decided there was been a drug addict rights movement, kind of like the NAACP has came in to protect the rights to people to shoot dope and smoke dope and pee where they want and go to the bathroom where they want and sleep where they want. And it's deplorable. It's completely deplorable. And so
I grew up in Seattle, and I hate even going downtown anymore. It's just changed so much in the last 25 years. Crazy.
I heard today Nike's leaving. So
Yeah.
Nike's leaving Seattle. And that's how we become Detroit. You know, as soon as business leaves and they board up the windows, then they graffiti the windows, then they go in the building and begin to form encampments in the building, and no business will come back in, and the city's dead. Yeah. And so that was a long way for us to say that we now believe that if you two sit with us, we can show you every intervention point that we can come up with and see, and allow you to intervene on your son's addiction. And we'll show you the right moves to take in order to do that. And that's what we do in a consult. So we show you exactly what way to go about the business of making it mandatory that he gets help and that he's staying helped. So until he can walk on his own.
Look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Yeah, shoot me a text with your name so I can program you, and we'll get a date scheduled. For sure.
Will do.
All right. Who's next? Who else is new out there? I see an iPhone out there that I don't recognize because it doesn't have a name. I don't know if we've met you, but would love to meet you. It just says iPhone. If you're willing to say hi, raise your hands. Some people here for the first time. Any questions? You seasoned people, comments, experiences. You name it. We've got lots of time. Come on now. Danielle.
Well, somebody needs to talk.
Hey, okay, so I have to do a shout out here. We got Danielle from the UK on tonight, and it's like 3 a.m. your time right now. She's setting her alarm so she can be a part. She got to meet us before she moved to the UK for her job for a year, and she's setting her alarm so she can join us.
Is that the furthest away anyone's ever been?
Yes. So Danielle, you win. Can we say hi? Are you? Yes, you win, Danielle. Danielle wins for the furthest. It used to be Angela from West Virginia. She usually is the furthest, but now you win.
Yeah. Hi. Yeah. It's now 4 a.m. So yes.
Good to see you. I'm glad you can join us.
Thank you.
What a gift Zoom is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right. And anytime you can join us for Moms Group. I know tomorrow you can't, Danielle, but let me do a shout out one more time for Moms Group. All of you ladies, all the women of Battlefield. So whether you're mom, whether you're sister, whether you're grandma, all ladies, We just invite you to join us tomorrow morning at 11, just a 1-hour coffee date. We get to know each other further. We talk about the topic from the night before. It's a nice space to work it out and talk, get it out of us and talk amongst each other. It's great. We enjoy our Wednesdays. Hey, Sherry. So join us. If you can only join us every now and then, ladies, that's fine. If you can't join us every week, we get it. You're at work, whatever, but anytime you can join us.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll just be on a train back from going from London to Manchester. Otherwise, I'd be there. And I just want to say hi to Sherry in person. We actually work at Amazon together. So, yeah.
Fellow Amazonians.
Yeah. I saw her name last week and I'm like, God, where do I know? I know that name. I know that name. And then I go to work the next day and I got an email from her saying, hey.
Different
So
definition.
small world. I already have a
Small world.
You got a mom on your side. That's the cool thing is the community that we have here is amazing. So because you have that love and support when you need it in that moment when you're like, I don't even know what to do today. And that's the day when I'll email you or I'll reach out to you or you reach out to me. And Renee has done that with, Renee and I have done that. And there's several of us who is like every once in a while, you just kind of have to drop an F-bomb and go get fast food, and it's just, having the moms as that network is just amazing. So
Sherry, so what do we call you guys? Amazon women? Is that what we call you guys?
no, Amazonians.
Amazonians. Yep. Yeah.
I like it.
So Art, I was going to ask you, can you feel yourself when you're going from that open heart place to the closed heart place? Can you feel that? Or is that just a thing?
Absolutely. And it's a real thing for me that I had to understand really early on. And I got an understanding of it by what would return to me if I spoke to people with a closed heart. How did it show back up for me because when I have a closed heart, I am also very critical. I am also very judgmental. I am also very angry. I'm also very against. And for me, I have the luxury of having a lot of people watch and see me in that condition. And when I was in that condition, the criticism of me would come back. The fear and insecurities would be ripe in the room. There was no progress. More anger left after the group than before, on and on and on. And I still, to this day, understand when my heart goes close, and it does. And so I made it clear to myself that I have to do the work of getting it back open when it closed, and I have to do it quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have time to recover, and I don't have time to take a break from the relationship. I don't have time to not talk to you. I don't have that kind of time. I don't have time because when my heart's closed, everything else I'm doing is relating to that. Mm-hmm. So I'm stuck trying to function in my life with this handcuff around my heart.
You're in the box.
I'm in the box. And we started, and I started getting real clear that acceptance isn't something you do. People say acceptance is the answer to all my problems. Well, how can I accept something I can't accept? So what do you mean? We'll just accept it. I don't accept it. We'll accept it. So how do you do acceptance? It's not something that, and I've got to figure it out pretty clear that acceptance is not something you do. It's a location you're either in or you're not in. So you're either in this location of acceptance, open heart, acceptance, and you're living in this location, and then you leave the location. You're in non-acceptance. And when you're in non-acceptance, your heart's closed and it shouldn't be this way. And how can they be doing this? And I don't understand them and I'm against them. And it's on and on and on. And so what it became for me was whether I was living and working from the location of acceptance or if I was in non-acceptance. Therefore, if I'm in non-acceptance, I have to do the work to get back. And what the work meant was I have to inquire, I have to talk, I have to share thoughts, I have to be open to the possibility that I'm wrong. I have to like do all this to get back there. And that was the number one priority. I no longer operate my life at all from any level of non-acceptance. None. And I can feel every part of my muscle tension, my heart rate, my thoughts. I know the difference very, very clear. And I think that's the first priority for everyone if you're going to do work in being cause in the matter, is to understand the difference between power and force. And force coming to be when we're in non-acceptance, we want to forcefully dismantle the situation and get our hands around it and choke it out and be a bull in a china shop. And then when we're in the location of acceptance, we want to just kind of figure it out. We want to figure it out. And so much better living in the location of acceptance and practicing that's the number one goal in my life, is to stay there. Everything else is.
What I think is interesting is, so like, Guy has gone through all of this stuff with me. So we speak that common language. We speak that language of, hey, superior, thanks for that. Right. And we'll kind of like nudge each other and things like that because we speak that common language. But then when you're not talking with somebody who has that common language, it seems like it's a little bit, you kind of have to pause or hold yourself like, okay, wait, I feel like I'm getting that tense. I feel like I'm closing down. Okay. And you have to kind of like do that on your own without the benefit of that second person.
That's great. I've been playing, I haven't had the second person in a long time. I mean, Angie and I've found a partner that is there with me, and we're both understanding of when our hearts are closed to each other. So we've worked that out, but I don't come across many other human beings right now in my life that their practice is to have an open heart, or their practice is to accept me, or their practice is to, be causing the matter with their relationship with me. I don't want that. I'm causing the matter. You can be too. I hope you are, but it's unnecessary. My job is to keep my heart open and make a difference. Matter. That's it. If that works out, that works out. But if it doesn't work out, what'll happen is my heart will close, and then my job is to keep my heart open. So I go to try to matter and make a difference, and then I'm rebuffed and told, get back, and you don't matter. And then your heart wants to close and go, I'm running away. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm staying away. I got to have boundaries. This person's crazy. And then you realize you're right in the mix. That you're not doing the work for a second, you're blaming, and then you go, oh, that person has the ability to close my heart down every time I go. So who should I be dealing with? That person. It's way different than dealing with people that say and agree even when they don't agree. You're great. I agree. Your heart will never close. It's people agreeing with you. And then you'll find out later that they didn't. You'll go, what? Eileen.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of expand a little more, or maybe get better understanding of what you mean by the agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of, for me, if somebody has an opinion that differs from me, and I'll tell them my opinion, they can tell me their opinion. I guess I don't see the point in taking it any further and trying to really convince somebody to see it my way, unless it's something that I may be an expert in, or if it's something that, it's a known fact that you can possibly pull up on your phone really quick and say, no, here, this is the actual number. Because, at work, I have a lady that we kind of see things really different on a political spectrum. But what I really like about our relationship is that we can voice our opinion. And it's obvious, I don't agree with the way she sees it, vice versa. And we just let that go. So
I believe you. I believe you. I totally believe you. And that's another perspective. And it's true. It's true what you're saying. And I do believe you. And I see that side of it. And I see that you have the capacity to do it. And it seems like with this person, you have the capacity to keep your heart open with them. And that's the key.
Yeah.
And what I'm kind of suggesting is the people that say it, well, we'll just agree to disagree. And with righteousness and that kind of thing. And I don't think what you're doing is agreeing to disagree. I think what you're doing in that case is you're just keeping an open heart and you're allowing for them. And there's a big difference between keeping a heart open and allowing for somebody and agreeing to disagree because we just we can't talk about it because we both get too mad.
It's an elephant in the room.
It's an elephant in the room.
Oh, okay.
And so I just see it from that way of like a sense of righteousness. But see, when you spoke how you spoke, I totally believe in the fact that you can do that. And so I don't, and I can see it. You're not, and that's the key again. Just when I'm saying agree to disagree, is my heart open or closed? Is that it? And a lot of people are closing their heart down and saying, I don't agree with you and I just don't want to talk about it anymore because you're so wrong.
And then I go to a coworker and tell, can you believe that Sally?
Yes, that's exactly right. That's right. Right.
I've probably been guilty of that one or two times.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, almost it's like somebody saying, we can agree that you're an idiot.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Eileen. That was great. That was a great distinction. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
You always bring such good stuff, Eileen. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Karen Gordley, come on now. We got to say hi to you. I can't let you get by without saying hi and introducing you. Karen. Oh, Karen.
Hi, everybody. I feel like I'm at home.
Oh, Karen, you're down in California right now, right?
Yeah. Been down here for about 5 years, but just being able to be here tonight and just listen to Art and see Angie, it just feels like I'm home. I have been supporting Battlefield Addiction in my own ways since they very first started. I remember having a meeting once or twice with Art and Angie, and they're doing great. Do you remember me, Art?
I remember meeting with you at the Muckleshoot Casino. I remember exactly where we were sitting. I remember all of it.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. So I just want you
guys
guys
at the
to
coffee
know,
shop, right? When it was the old Muckleshoot, you walk right in there and there's the coffee shop, and I like it. I like holding meetings at the Muckleshoot.
Yeah, it was a great place for a meeting. That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was way back in the beginning days.
Yeah, it was. It was way in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I've been supporting Battlefield Addiction in my own ways ever since then. I want you guys to know I'm pulling for all of you. I'm pulling for your kids. I'm pulling for the garage crew. You guys are working with a phenomenal group. I refer people up in Washington all the time to Battlefield Addiction. And so just thanks for letting me hang out tonight.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. And I'm hoping that you can come to the Run for Recovery and have Team Naomi in person. That'd be so great.
We're going to try to do that, and we're going to try to come up for the auction this year. Sarah and I were going to come last year, but I was recovering from a surgery that ended up getting postponed, so we weren't able to come up. So hopefully this year. And if I do, I probably will have some surprises for you guys. So
ooh, well,
let's keep our fingers crossed.
Ooh la la. We like surprises. And Karen, I'm really working on, so y'all, Karen is part of Beyond the Battle. Her daughter Naomi passed in 2014. But she's part of Beyond the Battle side. And Karen, I'm trying, we got to build this Beyond the Battle side. We got to get this group on these meetings every week, because a lot of times, for those who have lost a child, they don't realize, they don't know what they don't know. They don't realize that these meetings on Tuesdays are for them, and
Right.
it feels like it's separate, but it's not.
Right.
So this year we are on a tougher mission to get them part of this. So I'm really, always makes me so happy and warms my heart when somebody is here on Tuesdays. So I'm just so happy you're here. So,
Well, I'll encourage people over on the other group to come and check it out. So
yes, please do. I keep posting the groups, and there's crickets. So help me out.
All right. Well, it's good to see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So good to see you, Karen. All right.
So many meetings. A lot of meetings. I've had a lot of meetings.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
The week's full of meetings.
Yeah. I meet you.
Oh, you've had a lot of meetings. Yes, since day one. That was way back in the day. In fact, that was 2014. And, I met Art February of 2014. That was actually right after Naomi passed, Karen. But I met him back in 14. And then, we got off and running with Battlefield. So anyway, so we have about 10 minutes left. So if there's anybody else left out there with questions, comments, experiences, anybody, please, this is your chance.
I have a question.
Thank you. Sorry. Yes, it's so dark. I was trying to figure out who you were.
I know. This is Irene. I'm sitting in the car because my son Max came home. So I was like, oh my gosh, I really didn't have another room to escape to. So I ran to the library, but they're closing. So I'm in the car. It was better in the car. I had my laptop, but that wasn't working. I don't know. So I'm on the cell phone.
Good. I'm glad you're here.
I couldn't get the little hand to go up, but we had our consultation.
It's your window.
And we're in that first phase where Max was missing for a couple of days, and then he came home, and then I followed your instructions, about being tough and laid down the rules, and it was like correction happened immediately. I took the keys away from the car. I have the keys. He hasn't fought with us about it. He has mentioned job. I'm going to pay the insurance, and I reminded him about getting help, and he's still not on board with that. And he's actually been, I'm going to use the word good, for 4 days since Friday, since that conversation, the hard conversation from me. Yeah. But there was one night he didn't come home, and then you sent a text saying, did you pack his stuff? And I said, no. Yeah. So we're kind of in limbo. He's been home. I know something's going to be happening soon. I'm anticipating him coming home stoned or drunk any day now. So we're kind of in limbo. What will happen once he does that? What's my next step?
Well, first of all, Irene, this is exactly the place that we want to bring people to, and understand that when you got that shift, you called it a correction. And that's what we're looking for, that first big kind of right hook that wakes them up to the power that we can be as a family, and the intervening power that you can be. And the key to what you're saying is, I'm not going to give you the next step right now, because we do that privately, or we need to know the situation more in depth and what the person's saying. But what I can say is that I hope that you're developing an understanding of the power that you have. And
yes, I saw it with my own eyes. I couldn't really believe it. That it was instantaneous.
And I think that's what we want to give the message to all families, is you clearly do not know what kind of power we have, and this idea that we wait for something to happen. We still haven't seen the case where somebody waited for something to happen and then something good happened. We just haven't seen that from the thousands of families we've helped. We haven't seen this idea that somebody would be allowed to be in addiction from their family, just allowed for it, not stigmatized, just told they're great, and then they decided they wanted to quit. We just haven't really seen that. Something intervenes. So the important part is that you got a little bit of power and a taste of being cause in the matter. And now you're asking, whoa, I've tasted the caviar of being cause in the matter. How do I get some more? How do I put me some more here?
I just want to be prepared for the next step when he steps out of line.
Remember, your son does not have a pathway to get better in your home. You find me. Remember when I told you what I do? What I told you that I do is I bring logic to an insane situation. Right now, logically tell me how your son makes it back to life at your house. Do you know the way?
No.
Okay, so we've concluded now that he can't be in your house.
Right.
And don't think that I'm giving advice to everyone. It's the same. I know this case. I'm just giving her a little coaching right now, but don't think that every case is the same. There's been people that we've asked to bring their kid home. There's people that we've asked to kick their kid out. We've never had to really kick a kid out. We usually just put them to the test and they go to treatment. So we're not suggesting the streets are that great of a place or to go there. We're not doing any of that. What we're just saying to Irene here is he can't get better in your house. Therefore, you know the direction that it has to go. He can't be in your house. And the reason he can't be in your house is not that he's a terrible person, not that he's anything. He can't be in your house because he can't get better there.
Right. Yes.
So when we said, when you said, did he pack his stuff? That's not because we want your son homeless. It's because we want him to get it figured out that you're very serious, that he cannot get better in your house. So simple. So you want to be very clear with him that I'm packing your stuff because you cannot get better in my home. Everything you say doesn't come true. Everything you tell me you're going to do doesn't come true. And it no longer works for me. It will no longer works for you. So it's very simple. You're going here. And then it's up to them what they do. So.
Okay. That's a reaffirm. Yeah. Reaffirming what you said.
It's a little refreshing.
Going back to that.
Yeah. I mean, he just can't get better in your house.
Next step, go back to step one.
Bringing logic to an insane situation. That's perfectly.
Okay.
Perfectly. And so, David, that's the perfect description of why we got to get you guys scheduled for a consultation. Is that's what art does, is bring logic.
Well, we get to become and part of the insanity, and little by little it pulls you into that world, and you start rationalizing, doing different things to try to help, and none of them are helpful, but it feels better than doing nothing. So you do something, and then that's all the person allows you to do. And that's why I said you can't really have a relationship with the drug addict, because it's just this it's parasitic. It's just this one thing sucking out the life of the relationship and only giving you what they will give you. And very parasitic relationship. Just end up taking, my definition of a drug addict is a collection of bad ideas.
Yeah, we can feel it. It's sucking the life out of us. So yeah.
A drug addict, a collection of bad ideas. Those ideas, a collection of bad ideas in which will take down themselves and everyone around them that follows suit with the ideas. You're just a bad idea. Just when I think you had a good idea, it's a bad one again. So there it is. Sounds like it. They always make it sound like a good idea, then it's a bad idea.
So we have time for one more. If there's anybody else out there, any questions out there that anybody needs to ask, please do. Otherwise, just a reminder, next week's group coaching to get registered.
Oh,
go ahead.
Hal Munkers would like a reminder that there's mom's group tomorrow. He says we haven't done it enough. He said we need to say it once.
All right, thanks, Kyle. Mom's group tomorrow.
I call it HMG, hot mom's group.
And group coaching next week.
Did you hear what Kyle called it?
No.
He called it Hot Moms Group.
HMG.
Oh,
Okay, well, I just give a quick.
I love Renee's.
I think that the work that we're doing here that's it. I mean, we come into something powerless, we end up in this situation and we're powerless and we're insecure and we're fearful and the way I know that that I was fearful and the way that I was insecure and powerless is because of my anger, because of my blame. And the way that I know that I've gotten a little better is because I don't blame so much and I don't get angry so much. And that's it. And then if I don't blame and I don't get angry, I don't resent. And if I don't resent, I don't live up in my head and I'm free to have my mental freedom and go about the day.
Don't react as much.
I don't react as much. I don't wait for things to build up and then say something when it's too late and go off on somebody and tell them all the reasons they're a piece of shit or whatever it is anymore. And so I don't let that stuff build. And so, I think that was what started was that Michael Singer told us to keep an open heart. If you've read the book Untethered Soul, in that book, he told you how your heart closes and he told you how to keep it open. And it's a beautiful book. And that started the pathway. Read that book. And when I see what the goal of life is, it's to just keep an open heart. And if I have an open heart and I'm not closed down and I'm not protecting myself, I can really get stuff done. I can really make a difference in my own life and I can really be at peace. And the moment I close down and close my heart and protect myself from the world and my own life and the people in it, I resent and I get angry. The moment I do that, all wasted time from that moment on. Every second is just a waste because I'm just contemplating blame and I'm just sitting there not getting any better. And that's hopefully what we're going to try to, that's hopefully what everyone is going to pick up here and say, wow, this thing showed up in our lives so that we can understand each other. We can keep an open heart with each other and we can make a difference and matter to each other. So again, thank you for the new people. Thank you for coming. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, everybody. Good night. Good night. Have a great week.
What was the name of that book?
Untethered Soul by Michael Singer.
Okay, thank you.
There's also a great video on YouTube. If you search on YouTube, Michael Singer, Mindfulness is the Way, I believe is the title. Mindfulness something. Mindfulness is the Way. It's about an hour and 10-minute talk by him. He's really fun to listen to. He's a quirky older guy and he's a lot of fun. He holds your attention. It's really a great video. So, but Untethered Soul, Michael Singer.
Thank you.
Yep. Oh, Becky, do you have something?
Oh, I was just going to mention that on the website, I think it's in the About section, there's a whole page of recommended reading with links to where you can get it on Amazon.
Oh, good.
Great.
So
Thank you for that. I wasn't sure if that was still active, so that's good to know.
I think it is. Maybe I better check all those links and make sure they still work.
Yeah, let's double check that. I hope so. Yeah, if not, we can get it active again.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, everybody. Good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Right.
Good night. Good night.